The moment you stop trying to fit in is the moment people start trying to figure you out. There's something different about you. And whether you fully see it or not, others do. You move through life without asking for attention, and somehow that draws even more of it. You don't follow the script, and that makes people nervous. You don't beg for acceptance, and that makes people chase yours. You're not trying to be the chosen one, but life, through all its chaos, made you one anyway. You're a Sigma male. That's not a trend, a label, or some ego fantasy. It's a quiet truth. You've always known there's more to you, even if you didn't have the words for it. You've been misunderstood, underestimated, maybe even pushed away for not playing the social game. But here's the twist. People notice. They recognize something rare in you. And when they do, their behavior changes. Some are drawn in, some get weird, some start poking at you just to see if you're real. This video lays it all bare. The strange, subtle, and often frustrating things people start doing once they realize you're not like the rest. You don't need to become anything. You already are. Now you just need to understand what's happening around you, so you don't let the confusion of others shake your foundation. So watch till the end. You'll see yourself in ways you didn't expect. You'll understand people's reactions a little clearer, and most of all, you'll stop doubting the quiet power you carry. Number one, they send in emotional spies. 1 minute, you're just living your life, minding your business, doing your thing, and the next, someone new pops up, suddenly interested in you. They seem curious, maybe even a little too interested. They ask subtle questions, try to get close quickly, act like they just vibe with you. But if you're paying attention, it doesn't feel natural. Something's off. And you're right, it usually is. See, when people can't figure you out directly, they send someone else to do it for them. A mutual friend, a new co-worker, that random person at the party who heard about you but won't say from where. They're not just here for connection, they're collecting data. You're unreadable. You don't overshare, you don't perform, and you don't follow the usual social scripts. That makes you unpredictable, and unpredictable people make others nervous. You don't show all your cards, and they hate that. So they send in someone they think you'll let your guard down around. These emotional spies ask personal questions dressed up as small talk. They fish for details, scan your reactions, and report back to whoever sent them. It's not always malicious. Sometimes it's pure curiosity, but other times it's calculated. Someone feels threatened by your presence and wants to figure out what makes you tick, because in their mind, control starts with understanding. But here's what they don't get. You already know. You read people before they even realize they're trying to read you. You feel the difference between real interest and quiet investigation. And when you sense it, you shut it down. Politely, subtly, effectively. You don't owe anyone access to your inner world just because they're curious, especially not the ones who come with a hidden agenda. Let them play spy games. You'll stay 3 steps ahead, just like always. Number 2, they accuse him of thinking he's better. Here's how it usually plays out. You're quiet, focused, doing your own thing, and suddenly someone throws out the classic line, "He thinks he's better than everyone." But let's be honest, is that really the problem? Or is it the fact that you don't need their approval that unsettles them? See, Sigma males don't walk into a room looking for validation. You're not out here over-explaining your moves, sugarcoating your truth, or shrinking yourself to make others feel more comfortable. You're respectful, but you're not a people pleaser. You listen, but you don't perform. And that throws people off, especially those who are used to being surrounded by folks who do perform. To them, your calm detachment feels like judgment. Your silence feels like arrogance. Your self-possession looks like superiority. But the truth is, you're just not playing their game. You don't need to prove yourself. You don't feel the urge to constantly reassure others that you're just like them, because you're not. And that's not ego, it's self-awareness. But people who rely on group validation to feel whole, they'll spin that into something ugly. Because if you're fine being alone, if you don't care what they think, if you move with quiet purpose, then they either have to rise to your level or tear you down to feel better. And let's be real, tearing down is easier. So they say, "He thinks he's too good." When in reality, you're just not trying to be liked. You're trying to be true. Let them misunderstand, let them project. The ones who get it will feel inspired, not threatened. And the ones who don't? They were never your crowd to begin with. You're not better. You're just free. And to the approval addicted, that's the most offensive thing you can be. Number 3, they secretly compete while pretending not to care. You're not even trying to compete, but suddenly it feels like you're in a silent tournament you never signed up for. Other guys start acting different around you. They crack more jokes, talk louder, flex a little harder, toss in backhanded compliments or subtle digs, all while pretending they're totally unbothered by your presence. It's covert competition, the unspoken kind, and it gets triggered by your quiet dominance. See, most men are used to competing in loud, obvious ways, bragging, showing off, outperforming. But when a Sigma walks in, he disrupts the whole ecosystem. You're not chasing attention. You're not clinging to status. You're just existing, calm, composed, confident, and that makes people uneasy, especially those whose identity depends on being the alpha in the room. Because you don't need to prove anything, they start feeling like they do. Your self-possession forces them to reflect on how performative their own confidence really is. That's when the quiet games begin. They try to outdo you, but casually. They mimic your style, but pass it off as coincidence. They compete in subtle, almost invisible ways, trying to beat you without making it obvious that you're the standard they're measuring themselves against. And let's be clear, it's not admiration. It's rivalry in disguise. They won't admit it because that would mean acknowledging you've affected them. And a Sigma male, he's the kind of man they don't want to be affected by. But here's the twist. While they're busy playing chess you didn't agree to, you're not even at the board. You're too busy staying true to yourself. Let them posture, let them play. Your presence alone is enough to shake the room. You don't need to win fake battles. They already know who you are. That's why they're trying so hard not to look like they care. But everything they do screams that they do. Number 4, they create rumors to break his aura. When a Sigma male starts gaining quiet influence, no flashy moves, no sucking up, just solid presence and undeniable growth, it makes people nervous. Especially the ones who've been trying to climb the ladder the traditional way, loud, political, performance-based. And when admiration quietly shifts into jealousy, that's when the whisper games begin. People start planting doubts, subtle rumors, nothing direct, just vague enough to avoid responsibility, just sharp enough to stain your image. I don't know, something about him feels off. He thinks he's smarter than everyone else. You know he only got that because of insert baseless claim here. Why do they do it? Because they can't understand how someone who doesn't play the popularity game is somehow still respected, still chosen, still magnetic. That breaks their rules. And rather than rise to meet your standard, they try to pull yours down. The goal isn't just to attack your name, it's to break your aura. That unshakable energy you carry, that calm confidence that speaks louder than their noise. They want others to doubt what they're beginning to feel, that you might be the real deal, so they throw mud at your character, hoping some of it sticks. Because if they can convince others you're not as grounded or clean as you seem, it makes their own mediocrity easier to justify. It's not that you're different, it's that you must be fake. That's the story they want to sell. But here's the truth. Real ones can't be broken by whispers, because people can feel energy. They sense consistency. They notice when a man walks in purpose instead of playing politics. Let them talk, let them twist, stay focused. Because when the noise fades and the dust settles, the truth always stands taller than the rumor. Your aura isn't fragile. It's forged in silence, discipline, and not needing the crowd to believe in you. Keep walking. Let your presence prove everything their words can't. Number 5. They push you into the role of savior. People love the idea of someone who can see through the noise, someone who stays calm, who doesn't crumble under pressure, who seems to just know things most people miss. That's you. You walk into a room and even if you say nothing, your energy speaks. You're grounded, you're focused, you're not chasing anyone's approval. And to those who feel lost in their own lives, you look like a lifeline. At first, it's flattering. They admire your emotional strength, your insight, your ability to stay cool when everyone else is falling apart. They tell you you're different, wise beyond your years, or that talking to you makes them feel seen. But pay attention, because sometimes that admiration slowly turns into expectation. They stop trying to heal themselves and start leaning on you to carry their chaos. They want your advice, your time, your calm energy, but without ever doing the real work themselves. They start unloading all their emotional baggage on you, not realizing you've got your own storms to manage. And the moment you set boundaries or refuse to take on the role of therapist, coach, or emotional sponge, you suddenly become cold, uncaring, distant, as if refusing to be drained by them makes you the villain. The truth is, people confuse being grounded with being responsible for everyone else's healing, and because you don't play victim, they assume you can handle anything they throw at you. But here's the line: you're not here to fix broken people who have no intention of fixing themselves. You can care deeply and still walk away. You can listen, empathize, and still say no when it's costing you your peace. So when they try to push you into the role of savior, don't play the part. Let them learn to save themselves. That's the real gift you give, not rescuing them, but reminding them they can rise on their own. Number 6, they try to uncover your dark secret. Let's be real, when people meet someone like you, someone who doesn't follow the crowd, doesn't seek approval, and doesn't crumble under pressure, they get curious and suspicious. You don't react the way most people do. You're not out here oversharing or trying to impress anyone. You're focused, calm, and just moving differently. And that drives some people nuts. Why? Because you don't fit into the boxes they've built in their heads. You're not chasing fame, followers, or validation. And somehow, you're still solid. That kind of self-possession confuses people. So they start digging. There must be something wrong with you. That's the only explanation their ego will accept. They start looking for cracks. They assume you've been through some horrible trauma that shaped you. Or they create stories. Maybe you're secretly heartless, arrogant, depressed, emotionally shut down. They whisper things like, "No one's that calm unless they're hiding something," or "There's something off about him, I can feel it." Here's the raw truth. It's not really about you, it's about them. If you're not secretly broken, then what's their excuse for being stuck? If you're just wired differently and thriving in that truth, then it forces them to look at their own choices. And most people are not ready to do that. So they search for flaws that make them feel better about themselves. They want to believe you're just faking it, or damaged, or hiding some big tragic secret, because if they can label you, they don't have to level up. Don't let it shake you. Let them guess. Let them assume. Let them write their little stories. Just don't play into it. You're not here to be understood by everyone. You're not mysterious. You're just whole in a world that's still healing. And people will always try to break what they can't explain. Number 7, they feel both protected and intimidated by you. You walk into a room and the energy shifts. Not because you're loud, not because you're trying to take up space, but because your presence speaks louder than words. You're calm, collected, focused. While everyone else is busy reacting, overthinking, or competing, you're just being. And that alone changes the atmosphere. People feel safe around you. There's something about your energy that makes them feel like everything's going to be okay. You're not easily shaken, you don't panic, and you don't feed the drama. You become the calm in their storm, and they start to rely on that. Even if they don't say it out loud, they come to you when things get messy because being around you feels like grounding. But here's the twist: the same presence that makes them feel protected also intimidates them. Your clarity, your sense of direction, your ability to not need them, it unsettles people who haven't found that in themselves. Being around you highlights what they're still running from. While you face things head on, they're still distracted, still spinning, still tangled up in other people's opinions. And being near someone who's figured things out, or is at least not pretending, forces them to feel their own chaos louder. So they start acting weird, hot and cold. One moment, they admire you. The next, they pull back. They want your presence but can't handle what it reflects. You didn't do anything, you just exist differently, and that alone is powerful enough to challenge their comfort zone. Don't shrink because of that. Don't water yourself down to keep others calm. You weren't meant to blend in. You were meant to be the quiet wake-up call that reminds people who they could be. Some will grow from that, others will run. Let them. Number 8, they try to knock you off balance with chaos. Here's a strange thing you'll start to notice. The more calm and centered you are, the more chaotic some people around you become. And not by accident, on purpose. Suddenly there's drama, tension, gossip, or emotional outbursts happening near you. Not directly aimed at you, but close enough to see if you'll get pulled into it. It's like they're throwing emotional grenades just to see if they can shake your peace. Why? Because your calmness exposes their instability. Your emotional control reminds them they don't have it. And for some, that's too uncomfortable to sit with. So instead of dealing with their own inner mess, they try to disturb yours. They stir up arguments, exaggerate problems, or drag you into group tension. It's subtle at first. A snide comment, a staged meltdown, an invitation to pick sides. They want to test you. Will you take the bait? Will you break character and join the chaos like everyone else? And when you don't, when you stay cool, silent, or simply walk away, they panic. Because now the mirror is turned on them. Your calm doesn't just protect you, it exposes them. They realize you won't be manipulated, you won't react emotionally, and you won't hand over your energy for free. That makes you dangerous, not because you're aggressive, but because you're immune. You're untouchable in a world where people thrive on emotional reaction. Here's the key. Don't defend yourself. Don't try to prove your intentions. Let the noise bounce off you. Your silence, your non-reaction is your power. Because nothing confuses chaotic people more than someone who refuses to play the game. Let them spin. Let them perform. You're not here for the circus. You're the calm center they can't shake. And that, more than anything, keeps them up at night. Number 9, they create fake safe zones to trap you. Some people won't come at you with open attacks. They'll come at you with comfort, support, loyalty, maybe even love. They'll say all the right things. You can be yourself with me. I get you. I'd never try to change who you are. It feels warm at first, safe, but something's off, and you feel it in your gut. That's because this safe space isn't safe at all. It's a setup. See, when people can't control you directly, they'll try to do it indirectly, by offering emotional security that comes with invisible strings. They'll subtly ask you to tone yourself down, to open up more, even when your instinct says no, to be more available, more normal, more the version of you that makes them comfortable. And if you don't, the warmth disappears. The door that looked open suddenly shuts. It's not real safety. They're building emotional cages and decorating them with soft pillows and kind words. It's conditional connection. We'll support you if you play the role we're comfortable with. But here's the catch. Sigma males don't play roles. Your nature is freedom, solitude, depth. You don't compromise who you are just to keep the peace. And when you resist the unspoken rules of their safe zone, they accuse you of being cold, distant, guarded, even though you were honest from the start. The real danger isn't the hate, it's the fake love. Because that's the trap people use to slowly bend you without breaking you. They want your soul, packaged in a version they can manage. So don't fall for it. Don't trade authenticity for comfort. Real connection doesn't ask you to shrink. If someone can't accept your full self, they were never offering safety. They were offering control with a pretty face. Stay sharp, stay free. You were never meant to be caged. Number 10. They elevate you publicly and undermine you privately. To your face, you're the golden one. He's different. He's wise. He's got that presence. In public spaces, you're praised, spoken about with respect, even awe. People highlight your discipline, your depth, your ability to move through the world without needing the spotlight. You're the one they say they admire. But behind closed doors, the story shifts. That same person who compliments your mystery at the table is the one whispering later, yeah, but something's off about him. Or, he's not as deep as he acts. Or the classic, he thinks he's better than everyone else. See, society loves the idea of a Sigma male, the lone wolf, the thinker, the one who doesn't need a crowd to validate his worth. But people who haven't done their inner work, they love the idea, not the reality, because the reality forces them to see their own dependence, their own craving for approval, their own noise. You don't chase applause, you don't reveal your every move. You're steady, selective. That triggers people who only feel seen when others are watching, so they praise you just enough to keep face, then tear you down when no one's looking. It's a power play. If they can't pull you down directly, they'll try to shrink you from the shadows. But here's the truth. You don't need the spotlight or their whispers. You're not here to be worshipped or understood. You're here to stay real. Let them clap in public and gossip in private. You don't move for noise. You move with purpose. And while they're busy dissecting your silence, you'll keep building quietly. Because the ones who truly see you won't need you to shrink. And the ones who don't, they were never your tribe to begin with. Number 11, they try to normalize mediocrity around you. You've probably heard it before. Why are you so intense? Just relax a little. Not everything has to be that deep. But let's be real, those comments aren't about your well-being, they're about theirs. Because the moment you walk in with focus, depth and purpose, it shines a light on everything they've been avoiding in themselves. See, most people get uncomfortable when someone doesn't settle. You hold yourself to a higher standard, not out of ego, but out of alignment with who you truly are. You're not chasing trophies or applause, you're chasing meaning. And that kind of mindset makes people squirm. Why? Because it reminds them of all the ways they've accepted less, from themselves, from life, from the people around them. So instead of leveling up, they try to level you down. They frame your discipline as obsession, your solitude as arrogance, your introspection as overthinking, all just polite ways of saying, "Can you shrink a little so I feel more comfortable next to you?" This is what people do when they're not ready to grow, but they don't want to feel left behind either. If they can't match your drive, they'll try to label it as unnecessary. If they can't match your clarity, they'll call it overkill. But don't buy into it. Your depth isn't a problem. Your intensity isn't too much. It's exactly what separates you from the herd sleepwalking through life. Don't let mediocre standards gaslight you into thinking your high standards are the issue. You're not here to fit in with half-hearted living. You're here to lead by example, to show what's possible when someone refuses to dilute themselves to make others comfortable. Let them mock it, let them mislabel it, but never let them water it down. Your energy is rare, and the ones who can handle it, they won't ask you to dim it. They'll rise to meet it. In final words, things people do when they recognize Sigma, males are the chosen one. When you don't fit the world, it tries to figure out what's wrong with you until it realizes you're exactly what it needed. If any of this sounds familiar, the whispers, the sudden confessions, the fake friendships, the secret rivalries, don't doubt yourself. Don't shrink. You're not too much. You're not imagining it. You're just not like them, and they know it. You're a Sigma male, not because you say so, but because your actions reflect it. You value solitude without being lonely. You think deeply, move quietly, and live on your terms. You question everything, including yourself, but not out of insecurity, out of integrity. That's why people react the way they do. Your presence alone makes others rethink their own lives. Your calm stirs their chaos. Your independence exposes their need for approval. And your refusal to play the game makes you both admired and feared. But here's the wisdom. You're not here to be understood by everyone. You're here to walk your path, whether or not it gets applause. Being the chosen one isn't about being worshipped. It's about being willing to stand alone, to see what others refuse to see, and to keep going when the world throws distractions, drama, and doubts your way. This path isn't easy, but it's yours. And that's the power. You don't have to prove anything, you just have to stay true. So if people start acting strange, taking shots, or trying to cage what they don't understand, good. It means they see it too, that quiet edge, that unshakable thing in you that no rumor, no praise, and no chaos can break. Watch this video till the end, not for validation, but to remind yourself you're not becoming the chosen one. You already are. Thank you for watching. God bless you.